My name's Glenn Manton, and I would like to take you back to 1993. It's the MCG Grand Final day. There's the MCG, not to scale. It's the last Saturday in September, and two huge combatants, Essendon versus Carlton, face off in a race towards the Premiership Cup. Every boy's dream to touch that cup, to wear that Premiership medallion around their neck. And I'm just like you. I'm stuck in a world of sadness. In the stand, I'm not competing. I'm not out on the ground. I'm injured. I'm prone. I'm remorseful. And I'm a bitter, twisted 20-year-old brat who does represent the Essendon Football Club as a professional footballer, but on this day just wants it all for himself. He wants to touch that cup. He wants to wear that medal around his neck. I'm a petulant fool, disappointed with the world. If Essendon win, I don't get a medal. If Carlton win, I don't get a medal. Glenn gets nothing. The halftime siren sounds and I'm stuck in my seat, kicking around trash, wondering if the day could get any worse. When out of nowhere, a thick, meaty hand falls upon my shoulder and I look up and it's an old guy, someone over the age of 30. And this old guy says to me, "You're a damn good footballer." And before I could get my chest to stop swelling and return fire, he said to me, "But you're not that." F-bomb good. I couldn't believe this. The day's going from bad to worse. This old man's accosting me in the stands, and now he pulls out a pen and a piece of paper and he writes a note, and as only old people can do, he folds it into some sort of origami crane and he hands it to me. And I unwrap it, and it says, "The Kookaburra," and a phone number. And I look at this strange man and he says, "Call me if you want to be a better footballer and a better person." Before I could say anything, he was gone. I take the piece of paper and I put it in my jacket pocket. The game ends, the final siren. Essendon, the Baby Bombers, have taken out the game. And Glenn Manton returns to 300 Napier Street, Strathmore. You can Google map that. My family home, trudges 8 steps up into the back door, opening to the left, into the kitchen, facing my mum and dad, without a premiership medal or touching the cup. My dad's excited that I was even participating in even a remote sense. And he says to me, throwing the table to the side and pushing his chair out to the middle of the kitchen, he says, hey, how was your day? As parents do. I said, "Dad, it was terrible. It was horrible. Worst day of my life. I didn't get a premiership medal. I didn't touch the cup. I'm a professional footballer. Sans any reward. In fact, I was even insulted by an old man called the Kookaburra who gave me his phone number and said, call me if I wanted to become a better footballer and a better person." My dad lost it. He said, "You met the Kookaburra?" I said, "Yes, I met the Kookaburra." He said, "You know the Kookaburra?" I said, "Well, I just met the Kookaburra." He said, "What is the Kookaburra?" I said, "I'm confused, Dad." "You know the Kookaburra?" "Yes," he says. "The Kookaburra is a legend of AFL football. His name is Alec Epps, 180 games, 4 grand finals, superstar. If he told you to call him, you must call him." I turned to my mother for a second opinion. She was just stirring soup on the stove. And without even looking back, when I asked her, "Mum, should I call this man the Kookaburra or not?" she simply said, "Only call him if he has patience." So I did something that many people here have never done. I went out to the landing of my home and I picked up a landline. And I dialed the number for the Kookaburra. It took a long time. Finally getting through, I said, "Oh, Mr. Kookaburra, Flappy Man, Birdie friend, feathery guy, it's Glenn Manton. We met at the football today." And he interrupted me straight away and he said, "This coming Wednesday, meet me at the bottom of Park Street, Clarinda Reserve in Moonee Ponds at 7 a.m. Don't be late." I tried to say something back, but he hung up. That Wednesday came around very, very quickly. And I arrived at the bottom of Park Street, Clarinda Reserve, Moonee Ponds at 7:15. And I strolled down with swag before swag was invented. And this man, barrel-chested, burly sort, old Italian with a football under his arm, leant against the wheelie bin, and I had no idea that he was furious. Foolishly, I stepped into his tractor beam and he drew me in closer and closer, where he unleashed an unbelievable verbal tirade, every curse word known to mankind, wrapped into one perfectly succinct sentence. And he said to me, with a slight Italian accent, "If you're ever late again, never come back." I thought, that's fine. This guy's a psycho. I don't want to come back. 2 hours later, I pulled myself to my vehicle, made my way home, and said goodbye forever to the Kookaburra, Alec Epps. I never wanted to see this man again. I could barely walk. One-on-one, he punished me. Football training, AFL skills. I hated every second. But something strange happened. And I'm not sure what it was. To this day, I'm not entirely sure. I actually turned up the next week at 7 a.m. to the bottom of Park Street, Clarinda Reserve, Moonee Ponds. And I met Alec Epps of the Kookaburra for a second time. And he flogged me again. And I couldn't walk again. And I promised myself I wouldn't go back again. But I went back a third time, and a fourth, a fifth, a sixth. Each time at 7 a.m. to the bottom of Park Street, Moonee Ponds, Clarinda Reserve. Every Wednesday morning for the next 9 years. We never missed a Wednesday morning. 5 years into our relationship, I decided, as any young man would do, that I needed to give this man, Alec Epps, the Kookaburra, a gift for his male-to-male mentoring, his affection, his trust, his time, through all the good, through all the bad, the highs, the lows, my entire football career. He was the one constant. He was always there. So I searched Melbourne, this great town that we live in, for a gift that I could engrave. The height of male-to-male bonding when you can engrave something. But I found nothing. I couldn't find a gift fitting for this man. So I turned up at his home on Park Street, Moonee Ponds, sans gift, sans medal, sans gift. I knocked on his front door. Dramatic effect. He opened it. Big presents. And he invited me into his home. I had nothing to give him. The whole plan was to be there to give him something. I had nothing. He invited me into the kitchen where he returned to carefully, skillfully cutting homemade salami. Italian tradition. And I stood in the door jamb, nervous, bumping my microphone uneasily, causing the sound tech a few dramas. Why was he there? But standing in the door jamb, I postured, I tried to pick my moment, and I said to him, "Cooker, there's something I want to say to you." He continued to cut. He said, "What's that?" I said, "Look, I've wanted to come here today with a gift, but I've come with nothing except something I just really want to say." "What's that?" "I just want to tell you that I love you." At which point the knife stopped. He looked back over his head. He resumed his cadence and he said, "I love you too." A man who has given me everything, who deserves so much more than an engraved gift. A man who I love. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Oh, in case you're wondering, did I ever go on to win a premiership medal? Yes, I did. Do I still see the Kookaburra? Yes, I do. And where does all this fit into fake or fate? Well, I'd like to think that when life's big, thick, meaty hand Italian or otherwise, lands on your shoulder, and then all of a sudden reaches out, you see that as a moment of fate, and you take it.